Hi there, teachers. Welcome back to my channel. I am April from Teach Travel Read, and I'm so excited to have you join me on this journey today as we delve into the topic of the classroom library. I know as a teacher for 14 years how important having a well-curated classroom library can impact the students in your classroom and their love of reading. So grab your favorite beverage and sit back and enjoy this video all about classroom libraries. Now, before we dive into our topic, let's talk about why classroom libraries are so important. First of all, they create a literature-rich environment for our students. That helps foster that love of reading and learning. When students are surrounded by those books that capture their attention, their interests, their imaginations, the magic just can happen. Now, I'm not saying it's going to be perfect, and not everybody loves to read. I have dealt with students that is a struggle. I totally get it. But if you provide all of these opportunities for them, it will only help them grow. So you may be saying, April, how do we actually go about building an effective classroom library? Well, it all starts with the selection of books. You want to make sure your library offers a variety of genres, themes, and reading levels to meet the needs of all of the diverse interests and abilities of your students. Don't forget to seek out books that have diverse representation and multicultural perspectives. It's essential for students to see themselves reflected in books, as well as experience stories from people that are different from them. I had a student a few years ago who saw a book in the classroom library and said, "Thank you so much." And I was like, "Why? It's a book." And it's because that's the first time he saw himself represented in a classroom library. How impactful that has been on me. And so when I continuously go through and update my classroom library, I've looked for those books specifically for kids to see themselves. Once you have created your collection of books, it's time to organize your library in a way that makes it easy for students to find their perfect book. You could consider sorting your books by genre, by themes, by author's last name. You kind of can choose what works best for you. I personally would not recommend by reading level. I am very against telling students they have to read within a certain level. I used to believe in that, and as I've grown and learned more as an educator, that is not what is best for students. You can even create really cozy reading nooks for your students to be able to sit back and relax and enjoy the books that they're reading. Now that your library is ready to go, let's talk about how to maximize that impact for your students. One of the best ways to do this is by incorporating reading time for students, just independent reading time, or to read aloud from books. There are lots of different ways that you can do this. You can do book talks. You can promote books on shelves. You can have them leave reviews of books and give suggestions to each other. You could do First Chapter Friday. You could do a book trailer Tuesday. All kinds of ways that you can keep your students engaged and interested in looking in those books and finding a book that they're truly going to love and enjoy. You also want to spend time reading aloud to your students. I try to make sure I do a good 15 to 20 minutes a day of read aloud time for my students. Does it happen every single day? Not always. Or sometimes it's a whole class novel that we're reading together. That's okay too. But I choose books that are going to be very different genres. They're not books that they tend to know about, so it exposes them to new books, and are usually part of a series, so that way if they enjoy it, they have more books that they can read and look forward to. You can also take advantage of things like book clubs or literature circles to keep your students engaged in the reading process. If you have books in your library, maybe you order multiple copies, students can create their own book clubs. Or maybe you have a set book club in your classroom, and again, it's part of a series, and so once that's done, you show them the other books that are available to them in your classroom library to keep that enthusiasm and that love of that reading going. Now, before we wrap up, I'm going to give you some additional tips and tricks for creating your classroom library. I'm going to have some future videos about how to actually be able to fund your classroom library and organize your classroom library. So that will be coming up in a future video. But in order to help you on your classroom library journey, one great way is to engage those parents and caregivers in special activities using your classroom library. You could send books home with students. You could have a family reading event. I even recommended with one parent to do a family book club with their children. And we have the books available in our classroom library. So I said, if you need any book recommendations, I'm happy to help. And we can borrow books from here. You can borrow books from the public library, lots of ideas. Also work with your school librarian or school media specialist in order to collaborate and figure out book recommendations or how to acquire those books that you so desperately need for your students. Don't forget to take advantage of those technology options available. Some students just love to listen to audiobooks. Do you have those available for students to listen to in your classroom? If not, again, check with your school librarian. And there you have it, teachers. With a little bit of creativity and a whole lot of love for reading, you can create a classroom library that will empower your students for years to come. Thanks so much for watching. If you found this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel for more educational content. Until next time, I love this journey for you.